Hi, I'm Rahel Philipose and you are listening to Three Things, the Indian Express News Show. In this episode, we talk about MBA graduates helping Uttar Pradesh with its global investments. We also give you a quick update about what the Supreme Court has said about Jallikattu. But first, we talk about Karnataka. The Congress party, who recently won the assembly election, has now decided that Siddaramaiah will be the new Chief Minister of the state. The 75-year-old leader has previously held this position from 2013 to 2018 and is considered one of the three remaining mass leaders of Karnataka, along with H.D. Devegowda and B.S. Yediyurappa. Now, along with Siddaramaiah, there was also D.K. Shivakumar, the president of the Karnataka Pradesh Congress Committee, who was vying for this post. But in the end, the party high command chose Siddaramaiah over him. To understand why they did so, my colleague Utsa Sarmin speaks to the Indian Express's Kiran Parashar.
So Kiran, you are joining us today from Siddaramaiah's hometown in Karnataka. Can you tell us what is the mood there right now?
So Utsa, Siddaramaiah was born and his initial days and upbringing was in Siddaramanahundi, which is part of Varuna Hobli in Mysore district. This is some 30 kilometer distance from Mysore city. So presently, Siddaramanahundi is in a celebratory mode. Everybody is celebrating that a boy from their hometown is becoming chief minister for the second time. And Siddaramaiah is also one of the persons who accomplished or who completed a 5 years term. He's only the probably third chief minister to do so. And another thing is the Mysore district hasn't seen a chief minister for a long time other than himself in 2013 and 18. So that is another part. And Siddaramaiah is somebody who has always kept his roots very attached. So whenever there are local festivals, he used to participate, and a year ago a video went viral where he not just participated in the local festival but also danced with his age group. So Siddaramanahundi is a special place for him, and even when he was chief minister, he used to visit Siddaramanahundi very often. So people here know him by name and he knows all these people by name. It's just like a family environment for him in Siddaramanahundi.
Okay, and now coming to the decision of making Siddaramaiah the CM. I mean, this was decided after intense lobbying and meetings that took place over the last 3 days. So can you tell us why the Congress High Command took such a long time to decide on the new CM?
Utsa, if you see the Karnataka Assembly elections, Congress basically went for the election with two of its tall leaders campaigning various parts of the Karnataka. It was Siddaramaiah and D.K. Shivakumar. So Siddaramaiah and D.K. Shivakumar, who went for the campaign, they shared the assembly segments and they started their campaign. And after that, we saw a huge margin results, 135 seats. So after that, it was very natural for Siddaramaiah and D.K. Shivakumar to claim or to aspire to become the next Chief Minister of Karnataka. And here the High Command also took opinion of all these MLAs who were elected, and a CLP meeting has been scheduled. Besides that, when Siddaramaiah's name and D.K. Shivakumar's name was taken before the High Command, there were a lot of discussions, deliberations of who should be the Chief Minister and the person who is not going to be the Chief Minister, what has to be done with that person. So the decision of being Siddaramaiah as Chief Minister was not an easy task because D.K. Shivakumar was also aspiring for it, and he had worked for almost more than 1.5 years after he became KPCC President.
Okay, so what made the party finally choose Siddaramaiah over D.K. Shivakumar?
So the rationale behind choosing Siddaramaiah was very simple, if you have to say. One is that they want D.K. Shivkumar's organizing skills, his way of working. They want it for Lok Sabha 2024 polls. So keeping that in view, Siddaramaiah was made the Chief Minister, while D.K. Shivkumar will be made as Deputy Chief Minister of Karnataka, and he will be given some plum portfolios as well. Whereas, if at all D.K. Shivakumar was made Chief Minister, then you could not have accommodated Siddaramaiah to any other post because he had already served as Chief Minister. Which is why what they did was they made Siddaramaiah as Chief Minister and they have given Deputy Chief Minister post to D.K. Shivakumar.
Right, and Siddaramaiah, as you mentioned, has been the Chief Minister in the past as well. Did that also work in his favor?
See, one is that Karnataka has faced maladministration and lack of leadership in the past few years during BJP rule. So now they want to take everything into control and they want to ensure that the administration will be smoother. So in this case, the person who has a greater experience and a wide range of knowledge about finance and administration is Siddaramaiah. So if you look at from that perspective, yes, Siddaramaiah would be the best choice as well. And also he would be very good implementation of the 5 guarantees that Congress promised in its manifesto. So I think the choice of Siddaramaiah comes because of the kind of experience that he has and the kind of control that he has over administration.
Okay, now Kiran, coming to DK Shivkumar, he was pretty adamant about being the chief minister. So what made him finally budge and let Siddaramaiah take that position?
So if you see, traditionally in Karnataka, whoever is KPCC president will usually be CLP leader and also will be the person who will be chosen as the chief minister whenever the party gets majority. But in 2013, scenario changed when then sitting KPCC president Parmeshwara lost in the assembly elections, but Siddaramaiah managed to win and he became the chief minister. While this time the scenario is very much different. You have both Siddaramaiah and DK Shivkumar both have won their seats. And DK Shivkumar, who happens to be the KPCC president, is also demanding for a chief minister position, which is technically not wrong. And technically, these people have made KPCC president as their CLP leader and also as chief minister. So in this situation, Shivkumar also threw his cards and he has been working very hard after he became KPCC president. So he had set up a war room. He was handling politics of various regions and he had given all his energy to this. And he was also very instrumental in organizing Bharat Jodo Yatra of Karnataka leg, which was of 22 days, a total of 27 days, but there were few days with rest. So 22 days of Bharat Jodo Yatra. And he has been a great organizer for all this while. So it is very natural that he would ask for a chief minister post, whereas the High Command has been able to convince DK Shivkumar that let Siddaramaiah be the chief minister. I don't think this would change till 2024 Lok Sabha polls, but after that we don't know how this power share or this entire Congress politics in Karnataka will unfold. So basically, there were a lot of news that DK Shivkumar and Siddaramaiah were being given a share of 2.5 years or 2 years Siddaramaiah, 3 years DK Shivkumar to be the chief minister of the state. However, all these things were just talks that went on, but nothing came out concrete. So even then, when the High Command asked DK Shivkumar that let Siddaramaiah complete his 2.5 years first, and after that DK Shivkumar can take over as the chief minister, to which he did not reportedly agree. So the High Command has apparently asked them to maintain the status quo and to maintain whatever they have come to the conclusion till at least Lok Sabha elections 2024. And after that, the entire political scenarios across the country and even in Karnataka state will definitely change. It might be a win or loss in the Lok Sabha polls, but definitely the politics is going to change in Karnataka.
Right, so until the 2024 Lok Sabha polls, we know Siddaramaiah will be the chief minister. But Kiran, hypothetically, what would you say are the pros of having Shiv Kumar as the CM of Karnataka?
See, DK Shivkumar has a great organizational skills and he has been a very successful businessman and he knows how to run the establishment or government or administration in terms of finance. And he also has an experience as an energy minister in the past and he comes from a town which is very close to Bangalore. So he knows everything. But when it comes to Siddaramaiah is a mass leader for Congress. And he has a lot of influence of socialist thinker Dr. Ram Manohar Lohia. And he is a staunch socialist and who has been providing schemes like Anna Bhagya, where you provide food grains to poor for free or at subsidized price, and even Kshira Bhagya, providing milk for the children and women, and Vidya Siri, providing assistance for education, especially in rural areas. And DK Shivkumar basically is a person who can bring business to you, who can make a business profitable. So his idea of looking at administration is something that he will streamline the agencies or he'll streamline the departments, he'll make it profitable and other things. During his tenure as power minister, Karnataka now houses one of the biggest solar parks in Asia. So that was one of his plans, which A.D.K. Shivakumar did. And he also streamlined the energy sectors, especially the corporations, electricity corporations in Karnataka. So he is somebody who can handle the business aspect of or the streamlining the departments and the government.
And next we talk about Uttar Pradesh. The UP government has launched a new scheme called Udyami Mitra, which loosely translates to Friends of the Business. The program will aim at bridging the gap between investors and state departments. And for this, the government has shortlisted MBA graduates from India's top institutions like IITs and IIMs who will work as Udyami Mitras. Now, this came after the UP Global Investor Summit, which was held earlier this year, and where the state government received investment proposals worth rupees 35 lakh crores. And the MBA graduates will help with the investments promised at the summit. To know more about this, my colleague Anwiti Singh speaks to the Indian Express's Maulshree Seth.
So, Maulshree, can you first begin by telling us why the UP government is recruiting MBA graduates to help with investments in the state?
Yeah, actually, UP government earlier this year, they had a Global Investor Summit in which they got the investment proposals which went over 30 lakh crore. So now they are tasked with the biggest challenge to actually turn these investment proposals on ground. So the government is taking various measures. They have also appointed nodal officers. So it is one initiative in that direction. So after meeting with the senior officials, CM decided to have a scheme wherein it's called youngsters would be deployed and they'll be named as Udyami Mitra. So that would be kind of industrialists or entrepreneur friends who will be there. Now, because the idea is to have at least one of them in each district. There are 75 districts across the state and then have some at the state headquarters. So the idea is they'll be kind of act as a link between the government and the industrialists who want to establish industry here. And they find it kind of difficult because earlier the government had some of the schemes like Nivesh Mitra. It was an online system where industrialists could have one online platform to apply things. But that interpersonal thing was missing. So if there were any issues with the online program, ultimately they'll have to come down to meeting officials one-to-one. And in case there were some delays in the meeting, so projects used to be delayed with that. So these people would act as a link between these industrialists and getting their clearances done. So that is why there are 105 who are going to be deployed across the state as well as the headquarters. And they'll be named as Udyami Mitra. Yeah.
And can you tell us the kind of responsibilities these 105 Udyami Mitras will have?
Actually, after the appointment, they are going to undergo a training of about 14 days, 2 weeks roughly. And they'll be trained about the new policies because before the Investor Summit, government had amended many of the policies related to the industrialists. And these policies actually provide a lot of incentives to the industrialists so that they can come in the state. And because of these incentives, they can actually invest. So what happens most of the time, many of the people are not aware of what are these incentives irrespective of their particular sector. So these Udyamis would be trained in those respective policies which the state government has brought in, plus the various clearances that are required at the grassroots level. For example, the fire, the environment, for which most of the time the industrialists complain that it takes time to establish industry because they are not able to get these clearances from the government in an appropriate or a set time limit. So they'll be trained to know about the land revenue records and what are the incentives that the government is providing them. There are clearances to be made so they could direct the industrialists, they could pursue these projects with that particular department. So the idea is to have that kind of a link between the industrialists and the government to speed up these projects, bringing them on ground.
Right. And over 1,300 people applied for these posts. Could you talk about the eligibility criteria and the selection process the applicants had to go through?
Yeah, the main criteria was that they should be having an MBA degree and at least a 1-year experience in different fields. And the age limit was 25 years minimum and maximum 40 years. So this was the main criteria that was there. And then they were also required to have a fluency in both Hindi and English, in verbal as well as in writing, because they'll be required to undergo the paperwork. They'll be able to assist the industrialist in the paperwork, because there are many foreign companies also who are coming up to invest. So they need to be very fluent in English, both speaking as well as in writing. And they should be able to convert it into Hindi, which is because most of the paperwork in UP is in Hindi. Because if they have to facilitate these industrialists, so they should be able to assist them in these paperwork as well. So that was one more criteria which they had to fulfill. And apart from that, their computer skills were also tested. Roughly about 1,300 applicants who had come in, and roughly about 700 something who sat in this computer eligibility exam. And based on the computer eligibility criteria, the candidates were selected for the final interview. So there were roughly about 300 candidates who were selected for the interview, and from that, these 105 have been selected and they are yet to be given the appointment letters.
So Maulshree, these Udyami Mitras, will they be considered government employees or just consultants?
No, they'll be on contract for 1 year. They'll be paid remuneration for that period of time, roughly about 70,000 per month. Is the basic remuneration, considering their travel allowances, the basic salary and everything. Plus, they'll be also given allowance to buy tablets, because they'll be required to do a lot of paperwork online. So they'll be given the tablets as well, the incentive to buy tablets. And then there'll be some extra incentives also that would be given to them. But basically, they'll be having roughly about 70,000 per month of remuneration. And they'll be deployed as of now for 1 year contract.
Right. And you mentioned that after the appointment, the Udyami Mitra will be trained so that they have a better understanding of the industries and sectors in the Uttar Pradesh. So could you talk about what this training will entail?
The training involves their awareness about the different departments, because when they'll be trained into the different policies, they'll be trained about the different departments that are there. But that would all be in consideration with the industry, that the job profile that they have. So the departments that are in connect with the industry, say, be it the clearances that are required, be it the revenue department. So whatever the departments that are in connect with the particular industries, the industry sector as such, so in those areas they'll be trained, be it the policies or be it the departments, how they work, how the clearances go. So that would be basically the part of their training.
And finally, we discussed the Supreme Court verdict on Jallikattu. Yesterday, a 5-judge bench of the Supreme Court upheld the constitutional validity of an amendment made by Tamil Nadu to the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Act that allowed the popular but controversial bull-taming sport Jallikattu. Now, for those unfamiliar with this centuries-old sport, Jallikattu is played annually in Tamil Nadu as part of the Pongal harvest festival. The apex court has said that Jallikattu is found to be part of Tamil Nadu's cultural heritage, and hence it does not wish to disrupt the legislature's decision to amend the PCA Act. While the Supreme Court ruled that the amendments made in 2017 were quote-unquote valid legislations, it said that Jallikattu issue was debatable and must ultimately be decided by the Lok Sabha. With this, the bench overruled the view taken by a 2-judge bench of the court in its 2014 ruling in Welfare Board of India v. A. Nagaraja, banning sports like Jallikattu. The Supreme Court also upheld similar amendments made by the legislatures of Maharashtra and Karnataka to the PCA Act in order to permit other bull-related sports like Kambala and bullock cart races. For context, in 2017, Tamil Nadu amended the PCA Act to allow Jallikattu in the state. The amending act sought to preserve the cultural heritage of Tamil Nadu and to ensure the survival and well-being of the native breed of bulls. This came after the top court had, in its 2014 judgment, said that bulls cannot be used as performing animals either for Jallikattu events or bullock cart races and banned their use for these purposes across the country. The judgment said, and I quote, Bulls are beaten, poked, prodded, harassed, and jumped on by numerous people. They have their tails bitten and twisted and their eyes and nose filled with irritating chemicals, unquote. This came after the Animal Welfare Board of India, which is a statutory body under the centre, and animal rights groups like PETA provided documentary evidence to the court suggesting that Jallikattu animals were physically and mentally tortured. You were listening to 3 Things by the Indian Express. Today's show was hosted by me, Rahel Philipose, and written and produced by Shashank, Bhargava, Utsa, Sarmin, Anwiti, Singh, and me, Rahel Philipose. It was edited and mixed by Suresh Pawar. If you like the show, then do subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts. You can also recommend the show to someone who you think will like it, share it with a friend or someone in your family. It's the best way for people to get to know about us. You can also tweet us at Express Podcasts and write to us at podcasts@indianexpress.com.